Everyone, this is Knowad, and we finally have confirmation that we will get Spenta, the Seal of Magistus, in Burst Protocol. That is the set that is coming in February, I think. And this is big news, not just for Draco Tail, just for a lot of decks, because this engine is very powerful. So in this video, I wanted to just show you the standard outline of what this card can do for any deck. And then after that, of course, we will go into the Draco Tail part, because I guess that is why you're here. So let's just start with the Spenta. So Spenta, you can discard this card from your hand and add a Magistus card from your deck except itself, or you could have the attack of an opponent's monster until the end of the turn, but that's not as relevant. And the other effect is you can banish this from the graveyard and equip any monster, that is very important, with a Magistus monster from your grave or extra deck. So very, very powerful card. It is level 4, it is a spellcaster, and here's what you can do with it. So generally, you want to use Spenta for decks that can make use of the Spenta 1-card combo, but also can put up a extra deck monster that is dispensable, so that if you have your in-archetype normal summon, you can still make use of the Spenta by going into a Crowley directly, summoning it, and fusing it with whatever you have on the board. But in this combo, let's just do Spenta alone. So what you'll do is you will discard the Spenta and you'll grab Zoroa. So Zoroa, generally, you will see a lot of decks just run this as a one-off in case you just have the Spenta and nothing else. Otherwise, you just use the Spenta to grab the Crowley. So the standard main deck engine is 3 Spenta, 1 Crowley, 1 Zoroa, and that's it. And you can normal summon the Zoroa. This is a tuner. And this card says it can, as an ignition effect, equip a Magistus card from your extra deck. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to equip the Artemis, the Moon Maiden. Now this triggers Zoroa. If it gets equipped, it can summon a spellcaster from the hand or graveyard, a level 4 spellcaster, but negate its effects. So we just grab back our Spenta here. And now we have these two plus the Artemis on the field. Now, in the OCG, here is where you would just make a Borreload Savage Dragon, because Borreload Savage Dragon would just then equip the Artemis, and you have a negate, and you can then use the Artemis after the fact. But that card is banned here, so what we have to do is we have to go around that. So note that the Zoroa is equipped with the Artemis, so leave that on the field. You just link off the spoon, Spenta, for a second copy of Artemis, and then use the Artemis that is equipped to grab a Crowley. Crowley, through his own effect, will then summon itself, and then on summon will fuse. You'll fuse the Crowley with the Artemis and summon your Zoroa fusion, and now you are protected from hand traps. Now the Zoroa can just equip something from the graveyard to itself, and then what you can do is you can use the Spenta, banish itself, and equip. Leave your extra deck alone most of the time, unless you run more Magistus cards that you want to use. But you can just take the Crowley from the grave, equip it to any one of these, and now you have like 2 equips that are expendable. Leave the one that is equipped to the Zoroa, of course, so that he doesn't have to send himself. And you can use these 2 equips, and you can make either the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, which is a level 8 non-tuner. So here what you could do is you can link this off because it's the spellcaster into the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and then just mix seals, and then go into whatever dragon you want in the one's turn, for example, Emululu. But I think the Magistus engine is already very taxing on the extra deck. What I like to do instead is do something else. So you can also just take these 2, synchro them into a level 12, for example, a Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, or what you can also do is you can go into Centurion, the level 12 that searches a Centurion card, and then you can just do Centurion combo. Or what I actually prefer, instead of the Doom Dragon, you make a Chorozo, because now you have 2 level 4s, and this opens up a lot of different scenarios. So you could overlay these 2. You could, first before you do that, you could link those 2 into any link 2 that you want, for example, on IP Magic Arena. You could overlay these 2 for a Dugares. Draw 2, discard 1, maybe you haven't found your main engine yet. You could go into an Exotonite, and then you go into Fiendsmith combo from here. Fiendsmith Magistus, probably not the worst idea. Just two strong engines. And Fiendsmith can also make the Choroso in engine, now that we have Lacrima. You could also overlay them for Gallant Granite. Grab a Nibiru, right? That's also nice. And if your deck likes having a Nibiru backup plan, that is good. And you can also do full Ryzeal combo from here. Note that if you grab X Ryzeal, you have a monster that is not level 4, so that will not surge, but this will still get you far enough. And also, because you have a banished card, you could also just go Banshee, detach 1, and then you search for... So why is this engine good? Now, if you want to run a side engine, that side engine should A, start plays, or work with your existing plays. So if you already have a normal summon, you don't want to summon the Zoroa, but that's okay. You can just Spenta, grab the Crowley, summon the Crowley, and then fuse with whatever you have on board for a negate. That is good. But also, another thing you want your side engine to do is to be resilient to hand traps, and I just wanted to show you Valor and Roll. This could also be Imperm, of course, and how that would affect you. Even Ash, like if Spenta gets ashed, if you have any monster that starts your plays, you can just banish the Spenta, equip the Artemis, and then just summon the Crowley that way still. But let's just look at these two. First, Valor. So we'll go Spenta, grab the Zoroa, normal Zoroa, effect to equip, and they'll Valor here, as they should, because this is a revive and a equip. So we don't get the revive, we don't get the Artemis, no problem. We just use the Spenta to grab the Artemis. Artemis, effect, grab the Crowley, special the Crowley, and now you basically have the same setup as before, you just don't have the negate anymore. So that preemptively ate your negate. Now, what if they droll you though? So you go Spenta, grab the Zoroa, they droll you, and now you have the Zoroa normal summon, and you cannot search, but what you can do is you can use the Zoroa to equip, and you still get the revive, and from here on out, you can just do whatever rank 4 play you had in mind. Or you could even banish this to equip and have 2 more if you wanted to, and summon a Doom Dragon, for example, if you just want to make seals. So, still very resilient to hand traps, and that's why this engine is nice. But you're probably here for Draco Tail combos, so I'll start with the first Draco Tail combo. So how does this bridge into Draco Tail? Now, of course, you can do the Seals line that I showed earlier. I'm not a big fan of the Seals line in general because of extra deck space. I already mentioned that. There's another line. I'll just show you and I'll tell you what I think of it after that. So we just have the Spenta and we will use it to grab the Zoroa. We have 4 hand drops in hand, would you say? And then we use the Zoroa, and that equips our Artemis, which will then summon the Spenta here. Now you will actually perform a synchro summon with these two. And summon out Zoroa, Magistus, I don't know what the name in English is. This is the German one, Loda Katastrophe. But this on summon will equip another Magistus monster from the extra deck, and you'll equip the Artemis. Now, Artemis, you can here use to grab a Crowley, summon the Crowley, and then this Crowley can summon out the invoked Magistus Omega, which will also be in Burst Protocol, and this is Alistair the Invoker, which Crowley substitutes, plus a Synchro Fusion, Xyz, or Link monster. And what this does is, if you special summon this, you can target 1 Fusion, Synchro, or Link monster in your graveyard, and once on the field, banish it, and that's not really relevant. What you want to do here is you want to use the other effect of the Zoroa in the grave, which will pop this to summon itself. So this gets popped, and now the Magistus Omega in the grave triggers. Now the effect of this is, if this is destroyed by a card effect, you can summon a spellcaster level 4 from your deck. So you'll summon the Lucias here, and from here on out, you can also equip this to the Lucias, which is nice, because from here on out, you can use the Lucias to grab yourself, of course, your 5 mana, and then you can also go and use the Spenta that you have to equip whatever, and now you have 2 monsters in the Stone Trap Zone. and go into your Chorozo, or because this is a level 8, you can make the Doom Dragon and overlay these two, and after that go for Draco Tail combo. Now, this, of course, is a 1-card bridge into full Draco Tail combo plus, so that sounds pretty nice, but I don't like this combo, because if you look at how many extra deck slots we had to use, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now this is interchangeable, this can be any other Magistus card if you want to run Toolbox, and that's already 5 cards for that. Now these you already run, and this would be whatever Chorozo or Doom Dragon you would run also, but you have to free up 2 more slots for these two. But that's not the biggest reason. The biggest reason is if you count the summons. So you have the Zoroa number 1, right? Zoroa effect, summon this, number 2, number 3, number 4, and then number 5 is this. So as soon as you use the Zoroa in the grave to pop this, they nib you, you have nothing left. Whereas the standard Zoroa line from Spenta is so good into nib, because the Magistus Zoroa fusion, the negate, will be the 5th summon in that combo. So you're much more resilient into any kind of hand traps, where this just loses to any hand trap, right? They can like Valor the Crowley, and then you have a level 8 non-tuner and a level 4 on the field. They can Ash the Artemis Search when you have the Zoroa with the Artemis on the field. Like this just plays into any hand trap. Ogre, of course, Ogre on the Artemis also hurts a lot. So Ghost Bell on the revive effect of this also hurts. So I would not recommend this combo, but it is a way to cleanly go into Draco Tail just using a Spenta. So if you want to have a 1-card combo for Spenta, for Draco Tail, I would just go for the Seals line, although I'm still not a big fan of that. I would probably just make the Zoroa, make a Dugaris, draw cards unless I have 4 hand traps, and then try to find Draco Tail engine that way, or just Granite for Nibiru, whatever. But where this engine really shines is when you already have your Draco Tail normal summon. So in this case, it's Lucius, also works with Kitu, of course, and other variants probably also work, just not the same combo. Kitu is the same as here, but like Mululu would be different. But here, you would normal summon the Lucius, and this is very important. This is what I meant before. This doesn't conflict with your normal summon, because if you have your normal summon already, you just keep this for later. If they happen to Imperm or Vela this for whatever reason, you can go Spenta, grab Crowley, summon Crowley, and fuse with the Lucius into Iwas, and then you'll have the Iwas on the field, plus the Lucius will trigger getting you your Rahu, and you still end on a good board. But if they don't do that, we grab a Femina, and we just go for our standard Draco Tail stuff. So we fuse the Lucius from the field with a random card in your hand, make the Arthalion targeting Femina, and then the Lucius setting you a Rahu. So grab back the Femina, and we'll have the Arthalion on the field. Now, from here on out, we can go and activate the Spenta, and here is where they could Ash you, because after that you'll have a negate for the Ash, and if they Ash you here, they will take 1 board piece away, so it's still correct to Ash here, but you can just banish the Spenta, equip Artemis to the Arthalion, summon the Crowley from the deck, or like add and then summon it, make the Zoroa, and you still have your negate, and then activate the Rahu. So no big deal here, but let's just say this resolves, and we just grab the Crowley, summon the Crowley, activate the Crowley, fuse with the Arthalion, make a Zoroa, which will then swiftly equip the Crowley from the grave, and now we are hand trap proof. We were hand trap proof before, but now the Zoroa doesn't have to send himself. But before we go any further, we could just go Rahu and then make our fusion, but we can actually push this a bit more. We can banish the Spenta from the grave to equip an Artemis to the Zoroa. We haven't used the Artemis yet, so let's just get a free +1. The next Arthalion will thank us for that, because now we have a random monster that we don't need, that we can just fuse away. This is the free plus, but what we really wanted to do is have 2 monsters in the spell trap zone, so that we can send them away here for Chorozo, for example, and that actually triggers the Arthalion, because 2 monsters went to the graveyard, And now we have 2 monsters in the field. So you can decide what you want to do with that. You can just synchro into a Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, because this is a tuner. This is just a very good interrupt. Or what you could do is also, you can, instead of the Chorozo, make a Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. Okay, this is Doom Dragon, this is Vengeance Dragon. And here you have 2 dragons. So what does that mean? We can make seals here without any bridge. So we save our extra deck spot, or we play it if we already run on the seals line. But they're also both level 8s. So you could overlay them for a Hope Harbinger. Now I like this one because this covers very well with the Zoroa. This covers monsters, this covers spells, traps, generally not activatable. So this gives you a good outline here. And then from here on out, you can go and do your Rahu using the 5 mana with an Urgida from your deck and summon a Gulamel. And then you'll trigger 5 mana and Urgida, set 2 traps, Flame and Sting in this situation. I'm a big fan of Sting right now, so who knows what happens in February, but right now I like Sting. And now you can activate the Urgida, put it on the bottom of the deck to add back your 5 mana. And that is it. So you have 4 cards in hand. One of them is pretty much a blank, but it's just free fusion fodder. You have a Zoroa for a negate. This time it's not equipped with anything, so that's the price you'll pay if you go for this. And you have a Gulamel, and of course you have the 2 traps. So pretty good board here. And in the case of Hope Harbinger, you also have the Arthalion under the Hope Harbinger for follow-up. If this gets outed, you make a cross sheep and the Arthalion comes back. So that is it for the video. This is how I would play it in Draco Tail, probably. No big fancy bridge, just use the Spenta for as much value as you can, and if you have the Draco Tail engine, you can just go for that. You can also, if you open Spenta and 5 mana or Frixel, you can obviously make the Iwas. That's also something to consider. And that's basically it for the video. I hope you liked what you saw here. There's a lot of things you can do with this card. I already, if you follow me on Twitter, I made full Yami combo with this card. If you want to see it, just follow me on Twitter, it's in the description. But this has so much potential, and I'm honestly a bit scared of it. But for now, that's it for the video, and I'll see you next time.